Hello everybody, I am Rue, and this is my cozy corner of BookTube, Rue with the Books. Thank you David G for tagging me in the BookTube numbers tag. This tag is mostly about the numerical, prompting various statistics and the likes. Hopefully this is a good opportunity for you to answer these questions for yourself and see how this bookish year is going so far. So today's question is, well, by the end of the video, choose one of the questions of this tag and let me know your answer. Press the like button to support my BookTube content and subscribe while you're down there for weekly uploads on the Rue with the Books channel. Be sure to grab a beverage and let's get down to business. Question number one is, what was your first BookTube video? Well, my first BookTube video was simply a newbie tag. I didn't really plan out the video too much, I just wanted to make the video and get started on BookTube to get the ball rolling. I feel like sometimes you just have to dive in at the deep end and do something to get started, even if it's not your finest work, and that's what I did for my newbie tag. We as humans tend to overthink things a lot of the time, so I didn't think too much about this one and just sent it. While it's not the best quality, I was still working on improving my videos with every upload, but I did put some solid effort into the second video I uploaded on my channels, which is my review for The Devils by Joe Abercrombie, which came out around the time the inception of the Rue with the Books channel. It's the second video that came on my channel, but I consider it to be my true first upload because I properly scripted it and it helped kind of lay down the framework that I've been using since then to structure my reviews, and I took feedback from my friends and did what is at the heart of BookTube, which is talking about books. Question number two is, how many books are you currently reading? So, for the most part, I do tend to read one book at a time. Sometimes I dabble with an audio book on the side, or during certain times, if I'm doing a buddy read with my partner, I may read another book during the times we aren't reading the same book at the same time. I have nothing against reading multiple books at the same time, though this is just my preference. I would usually talk about what I'm currently reading in a prompt like this, but I'm currently working on a secret video, and I will unveil what I've been reading when that comes out, so stay tuned. Question number three is, what were the top 3 books you read last year? Well, my 3 best books I read last year were Catch-22 by Joseph Heller, Utopia Avenue by David Mitchell, and Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. I loved Catch-22 because it's a very unique book in terms of the way that it was written. It sees the main character in an impossible situation, but the author also creates an incredible cast of side characters in a similar position to his own, but who live entirely different lives. One of the reviews I saw on the front cover of the book was, "Never has a book been laughed and cried at so many times," and I think that just describes this book absolutely down to a T. A lot of the dialogue in this book is written in a very specific way in which, at the surface level, the conversations make absolutely no sense and are just completely nonsensical and a total farce. But when you dig deeper and consider the economics or what the characters are trying to get at, then it opens up at a completely different side of things. And I think this is probably one of the most unique things about this book. I've never read dialogue in any other book anything like it. This book, for certain people, can be very irritating. It's the kind of book that you just got to strap in for and let it take you on the ride it's taking you on. But by the time you get to the end, everything makes sense and it's just an absolute masterpiece. For the second book, I loved Utopia Avenue because it's such a fun experience. It's about a group of people who band up together to make a little musical troupe of their own, and we see them in the process of creating albums, playing live shows, as well as touring. In addition to this, we get these complex character studies of what it would be like to live as a musician during these times, especially based on their identities. The vocalist is queer, and she also has these kind of expectations of her that she has to navigate. We have some people who experience drug problems, mental health, and family issues. We really see the highs and the lows of these characters, and it just has one of the best mental health sub-stories I've ever read in any book. Just simply incredible. And for the final book, which is Demon Copperhead, That is a retelling of David Copperfield by Charles Dickens, and it's set in rural Appalachia rather than Victorian England. Demon has a really tough upbringing because his mother is on opioids, and as she is in and out of rehab, he is in and out of foster care. It follows him very centrally. We see his upbringing, his successes and his failures, how all-consuming and heartbreaking love can be, and despite how bleak and powerless Demon is for most of the story, there is a certain optimism throughout the book that says, you know, one day everything might just be okay. I loved this book for its main character, for all of the various phases of Demon's life. It's an incredibly immersive story, and it's one where you just really, really root for the main character. Question number 4 is, how many books did you read last year? So last year I read 80 whole books, which is a hell of a lot. When I started this channel, I was unemployed. I am now employed and have less time to read, but I am also reading a lot more long books this year than last year. I'm at 38 so far this year, so maybe by the end of the year I'll hit 60, which is still a lot of books. Question number 5 is, how many books have you rated as 5 stars this year? I've rated 7 books 5 stars this year, and considering that I've read 38 books so far, that's not bad. When I saw this question, I was worried that it would be something stupid like 20 books rated 5 stars, making me seem like a terrible critic, or in general, really overrating books. Question number 6 is, do you have a reading target for this year? Are you on track? So in general, my target for this year is about 60, but I'm not too worried on the numbers too much. At the start of the year, I made a video about setting reading goals, and one of the points I made was, don't read for numbers, set more kind of focused goals, like reading from a specific author or reading from specific awards, or pick up that series that's got 5 books that you've been planning to read for 3 years. Set smaller goals that make you feel accomplished and let you read those stories that you want to read. Anyway, so to digress, the main point of this is I'm going to put up a picture showing my actual reading goals for this year, what I've wanted to read, and how I'm currently progressing with them. So the first of my goals was to catch up to Dungeon Crawler Carl before the newest book came out, and I managed to get that done, and then I read the newest one on release. The review for that book is up on this channel if you are interested. I recently read the first Wheel of Time book and also got started with the Dresden Files by reading the first book in that series too. I'll be interspersing these books in the midst of whatever else I read. I want to read more Stephen King books as part of my preparation for The Dark Tower, and I also love Terry Pratchett and his Discworld series, so I want to read more of those books in the year too. Those are kind of my soft goals for this year, where I don't really have a set number I want to read. Maybe even just one of each will be enough and keep me happy. As far as everything goes, I think I'm on track and I should be able to get through everything by the end of the year, even with spooky season coming up in the next few months. As you may see, I've read the Farseer trilogy this year, which was my first goal, and I got that done in February. I caught up to Myrtlewood Mysteries. I had about, I think, 3 or 4 books to read for that this year. And I read books 2 and 3 in the Godkiller series because I kind of wanted to wrap that up before I started the Wheel of Time, just so I have another series out of the way. And then, yeah, I've just talked about everything else. Question number 7 is, how many pages long is the book that you're reading now? Simple answer, 205 pages. Question number 8 is, how long are your videos? Probably too long. In general, they vary. It depends on the type of video and maybe how much I have to say about a book. Sometimes I do random videos that don't fit into various categories, and they tend to be quite short too, like this one here, which is the numbers tag. My shortest videos are probably about 10 to 15 minutes, and my longest ones, such as my talking books videos, are 50 minutes to an hour. Some videos, like my end of year reading tier list, which I did at the end of last year, was over an hour long. So there's a lot of variance there. Question number 9 is, do you have a favorite number? Nope. Question number 10 is, do you have a book on your shelves with a number in the title or the cover? I actually do have a couple. Um, I lent out a copy of 1984, but I never got that back, so that could have been added to this. But I do have this, which is Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. I think this book is hot garbage. I really didn't like it. And I talked about this earlier in the year because that was one of my 2026 reads. I also have The Sign of Four by Arthur Conan Doyle. It's a very short little book for some Sherlock Holmes. I picked this up recently at a used book sale at a local community centre. And I've already read it, and I actually think it was quite alright. It was quite varied for a Sherlock Holmes book. There was a lot of stuff going on, some interesting sub-stories, and I really enjoyed the kind of reveal of everything from the perspective of the villain at the end. Thank you for watching this video. If you have made it this far, I hope you get your favourite numbers worth of cakes given to you today. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It would mean the absolute world to me, and I would love to have you as part of the Rue with the Books community. If you'd like to connect with me outside of YouTube, I have links to my Goodreads, my TikTok, my Instagram, and my Storygraph in the description below. Anyway, until next time, Rue out.